Think for a moment about how much of your day slips through your fingers without you even noticing. How many times have you sat down to work on something important, only to find yourself scrolling aimlessly through your phone, checking emails that don't matter, or worrying about things that aren't yours to control? Every moment you give your attention to something irrelevant, you're giving your life away. Focus is not just about discipline, it's about choice. It's about consciously deciding where you invest your most precious resource, your attention. Because attention once spent can never be reclaimed. When we talk about focusing like a laser, we are really talking about precision, about eliminating the noise that clouds our minds and diffuses our energy. Imagine a beam of light. In the sun, light is scattered everywhere, touching everything but impacting nothing in a concentrated way. A laser, however, channels all its energy into one fine, unstoppable point. That is what focus is, the ability to direct all your mental energy toward one objective, one goal, one task, until it moves from idea to reality. But to reach that level of clarity, you must first strip away everything that is not essential. The first step in this process is recognizing the distractions in your environment and in your mind. External distractions are obvious: or phone buzzing with notifications, a noisy room, a cluttered workspace, but internal distractions are subtler and far more dangerous. They come as self-doubt, anxiety, daydreaming, and the constant what-ifs that echo in your mind. These mental interruptions fragment your attention in ways that are invisible but no less harmful. Philosophers and psychologists alike tell us that the mind, when scattered, is incapable of producing excellence. To achieve clarity, you must actively guard your inner space. You cannot let every thought, every impulse, every passing worry dictate your energy. This requires discipline, yes, but also awareness. Begin by observing yourself without judgment. Notice where your attention drifts and ask why. Often, distraction is not a mere accident, it is a signal, a symptom of misalignment. You are focusing on the unimportant because the important is intimidating, uncomfortable, or requires a courage you are yet to summon. Once you understand this, you can reclaim your attention with intention. You can decide moment by moment to redirect your mental energy toward what truly matters. Practical steps are essential too. Structure your environment to support focus. Clear your workspace. Set boundaries with technology, turn off unnecessary notifications, allocate specific times for checking messages, and protect your time like the precious commodity it is. And then train your mind to sustain attention. Start small. Give yourself a task and commit to working on it without interruption for a short, defined period. Gradually extend this time. Each successful session strengthens your mental muscle, just as lifting weights strengthens your body. You are teaching yourself that focus is not something that happens by chance, it is something you cultivate, something you command. But perhaps the most important truth is that focus is a moral act as much as a practical one. Every time you allow yourself to be distracted by the trivial, you are implicitly telling yourself that your goals, your dreams, your potential are less important than convenience, comfort, or avoidance. Choosing focus, on the other hand, is a declaration that your life is worth directing with precision, that your energy deserves to be concentrated, that your purpose is worthy of your full presence. There is a profound freedom in this, because when you control your attention, you control your life. And let us not forget the ripple effect of focus. When you give your undivided attention to something, the world responds. Opportunities emerge. Creativity flourishes. Obstacles shrink. A task that seemed impossible becomes achievable because the full force of your mind is engaged. This is the power of focus. Like a laser, it does not merely produce results, it transforms the person wielding it. You become someone who is not easily shaken, someone whose energy is not diluted by the trivial, someone whose presence commands reality to respond to purpose. So I challenge you, examine where your attention goes. Guard it fiercely. Strip away the distractions that scatter your energy and dilute your potential. Not tomorrow, not next week, but right now. Start with one small, deliberate choice. Turn off the noise, silence the mind, and direct your attention fully, wholly, without compromise to what truly matters. Because focus is not just a habit, it is a declaration of intent. And when you focus like a laser, the results you produce are inevitable. Focus is not something that appears magically like a sudden flash of insight. It is not a gift reserved for the few who are naturally disciplined or inherently talented. Focus is a skill, a muscle of the mind, and like any muscle, it strengthens only through deliberate practice, consistent effort, and mindful attention. Think about the human body. No one wakes up one morning with a perfectly sculpted physique. Strength is built rep by rep, day after day, through struggle, persistence, and patience. The mind operates in the same way. Attention, concentration, clarity, these are mental muscles that require training, care, and intentional exercise. Most people misunderstand what it means to train the mind. They think it's about forcing themselves to sit in silence for hours or suppressing thoughts with sheer willpower. True mental training is subtler than that. It begins with awareness. You cannot strengthen what you do not recognize. Observe your thoughts without judgment. Notice the way your mind drifts when you try to focus. Notice the patterns, the triggers, the moments when distraction sneaks in. Awareness is the foundation of growth because it tells you exactly where the weaknesses lie, exactly where effort is needed. Without this knowledge, any attempt at mental discipline is like lifting weights with no sense of form or purpose. You may be moving, but you are not growing. Once awareness is established, deliberate practice comes into play. This is where the principle of deep work becomes essential. Schedule time when your mind is undisturbed, when external demands are minimal, and allow yourself to immerse fully in one task, one idea, one goal. In these moments, focus is not a fleeting effort, it is a committed, almost meditative engagement with reality. Your mind learns, slowly but surely, to sustain attention, to resist distraction, and to extract more meaning from every effort. Like a muscle that fatigues and grows stronger, your concentration expands over time, enabling you to tackle more complex challenges with greater clarity. Another essential element of mental training is resilience. Just as physical training involves strain, discomfort, and occasional failure, mental training requires facing fatigue, frustration, and wandering thoughts. Your mind will resist. It will rebel. And yet, each time you redirect your attention, each time you refuse to give in to distraction, your mental strength increases. Every act of conscious focus is a push-up for the brain, a lift for the soul, a rehearsal for the discipline required in the larger tasks of life. This is the quiet power of incremental growth. Small, consistent acts of mental training create a foundation of extraordinary capability. But mental training is not only about exercises or routines, it is also about environment and nourishment. Just as a body cannot thrive on junk food alone, the mind cannot develop without proper inputs. What you consume intellectually, emotionally, and spiritually shapes your capacity for focus. Read, listen, and engage with ideas that challenge you, expand you, and sharpen your thinking. Surround yourself with people who lift your standards and provoke meaningful thought. Avoid inputs that dull your mind, fragment your attention, or foster passivity. Remember, the mind is like soil. Whatever seeds you plant, whatever energy you feed it, will grow. Choose wisely. Perhaps most importantly, training the mind requires patience and compassion. Many people give up too soon because they expect results overnight. Like any muscle, the mind responds gradually to effort. There will be days when focus falters, when the mind wanders, when you feel the pull of distraction stronger than ever. This is not failure, it is the natural process of growth. Treat yourself with curiosity, not judgment. Observe, adjust, and try again. Each session of deliberate focus is a victory in itself, a step toward mastery. And the reward of this training is profound. A well-trained mind is not only capable of greater focus, it is resilient in the face of chaos, clear in the midst of confusion, and capable of creating extraordinary outcomes from ordinary circumstances. Mental strength transforms challenges into opportunities and distraction into insight. It is the silent engine behind every act of creativity, productivity, and meaningful achievement. When your mind is trained, you do not simply act, you act with precision, purpose, and power. So I urge you, do not wait for focus to appear magically. Do not rely on luck, circumstances, or fleeting motivation. Treat your mind as you would a muscle you intend to build for life. Observe it, challenge it, strengthen it, and nourish it. Commit to daily acts of mental training, small and deliberate, and watch as your capacity to focus deepens, expands, and transforms every aspect of your life. Because a trained mind is freedom. Freedom from distraction, freedom from doubt, freedom from the chaos of scattered attention. And when you are free in this way, every choice, every action, every thought becomes a tool to shape your destiny. Focus alone, even when honed and disciplined, is not enough. You can eliminate distractions, train your mind, and sustain attention, yet still move in circles if your energy is not guided by purpose. Purpose is the compass that gives direction to your focus. It is the North Star that transforms effort into meaningful results. Without it, focus can become aimless, and concentration may produce activity without achievement. The truth is, focus thrives not merely on intensity, but on clarity. The clearer your why, sharper your focus and the more powerful your results. To understand this, consider how often we act on autopilot. We wake up, follow routines, and accomplish tasks without ever questioning why we do them. We fill our days with busyness, mistaking movement for progress. But movement without direction is like running on a treadmill. No matter how fast or long we go, we remain in the same place. Purpose-driven action is different. It is intentional. It requires that we know what we are aiming for, that every action we take is in service of a larger vision. This is not motivational fluff, it is psychological and philosophical truth. Humans are wired for meaning. Our brains, our hearts, our very energy respond to a goal that matters. Without it, focus is weak, fleeting, and easily derailed. Purpose-driven action begins with reflection. What do you want to create in your life? What do you want to leave behind? What is worth the effort, the struggle, the sacrifices? These questions are not trivial, they are foundational. Many people avoid them because the answers demand courage. Purpose is rarely comfortable. It often requires stepping beyond familiar routines, confronting uncertainty, and doing work that is hard, lonely, or misunderstood. And yet, this is where focus finds its deepest fuel. When you are clear about your why, distraction loses its power. Noise fades. The trivial becomes irrelevant. Your energy is no longer spread thin, it is concentrated, directed, and unstoppable. But purpose alone is not enough if it remains abstract. It must be translated into action, into concrete steps that bring vision into reality. Each day, each decision, each task must be aligned with the overarching goal you have set. This is where discipline meets direction. Purpose without action is wishful thinking, action without purpose is chaos. When the two converge, focus becomes transformative. Small, deliberate steps taken consistently in alignment with purpose accumulate into extraordinary outcomes. It is not the grand gestures, but the purposeful, persistent effort that defines achievement. There is a profound psychological principle at work here. Humans are motivated by meaning far more than by urgency or pressure. When you know why you are doing something, your brain releases chemicals that heighten attention, increase resilience, and sharpen problem solving. You see obstacles not as barriers, but as signals to adjust your strategy. You feel a sense of flow, where time seems to contract, energy expands, and performance reaches its peak. This is the practical neurological power of purpose-driven focus. It is a force multiplier for every skill, every habit, every ounce of effort you have cultivated. Purpose-driven action also cultivates resilience. When challenges arise, and they always do, clarity of purpose acts as a stabilizer. The noise of criticism, failure, or doubt cannot shake a mind that knows its direction. You recover faster, you adapt smarter, and you persist longer. Purpose gives focus meaning, and meaning gives focus endurance. This is why some of the most impactful individuals in history, from scientists to artists to social leaders, succeeded not because they were naturally talented, but because they knew their mission and allowed it to guide every action. And here is the crucial insight. Your purpose does not have to be monumental to be powerful. It simply has to matter to you. Even a small, sincere goal can transform your attention and energy if it aligns with your values and vision. Focus is amplified when the mind, heart, and actions converge towards something that feels meaningful. The more personal, authentic, and non-negotiable the purpose, the more disciplined, unwavering, and laser-like your focus becomes. So I challenge you today, do not focus merely for the sake of productivity. Focus for the sake of meaning. Clarify your why, align your actions with it, and let every moment of attention serve that purpose. Remove the distractions, train your mind, and then direct it with intention. The combination of clarity, discipline, and purpose creates not just achievement, but transformation. Not just success, but significance. Because focus without purpose may produce tasks, but focus with purpose produces a life that is intentional, resilient, and profoundly impactful. And when you act with purpose, every choice, every effort, every moment becomes a declaration that your life matters, that your energy is sacred, and that your potential will not be wasted.